Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Radio on my mind.
Welcome to the Texas Ticket Show, Armando and Haley Dunn.
Hi, how are you? Did you survive the snow apocalypse?
It was great. Yeah, fantastic. You know, unexpected was the power didn't go out.
I know.
Did your power go out?
No.
Anybody's power go out? And we had a great cast. Let me introduce them all for you really quick. I have Sabina.
Yes, sir. Moreno.
Sabina Moreno. And tell me a little bit about the mortgage company you work with.
I'm a Mortgage Solutions LP, so we do it all. FHA, VA, USD, anything you could think of, we do it all.
You got to get it closer to that mic
I'm sorry.
to do this. And tell me, and it's Sabina 1143946 in MLS. We're glad to have you on the show. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Man, grateful. Thank you. Your time here is a donation. We're so grateful. And Christian Waldo. Christian Waldo, the Crawfish Critic, and the SCCA more so, I guess, more so in the fact that, regionally speaking, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so the SCCA, Southern Crawfish Cook-Off Association, it's basically a cook-off league that sanctions crawfish cook-offs all across the South here. So happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
You've got a mountain of events you guys are working with.
We do.
And you've got a couple of interests as well. I mean, we're bringing up the Pets Alive and a few other things that are attractive. And everybody, I think, at the table today has mentioned interest with the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. And we believe this is a viable business source for everyone here in the area. You should be involved. You should. It's a good idea.
This is your area, our territory, right?
Yeah, I disguise myself as media when I go and really try to support all those that support the city of Conroe in any way whatsoever. So we really kind of take this posture in a lot of events, and sometimes we just want to delve a little deeper, a little deeper. But today's show, we really wanted to kind of focus on local events, of course, and happenings, as we always do. And, the things coming up in February, as well as the Crawfish Association, and get a little bit more knowledgeable on what you're doing, Mr. Waldo. And there's a lot. I want to say I want to know more about what you're doing, but there is so much. I don't think our show's long enough.
Yeah, man.
It's not.
We have a lot of great things going on. We have a lot of great people behind us. I think the best place to start with this is kind of where it all started. You know? So the Crawfish Critic is really where we come from. We're the SCCA now, but we still hold on to those
Whoa!
Oh, whoa!
Go a little further back.
All right, well,
Dude, it's this guy.
all right, well, let's talk about this. So
From the left side of my mother's womb.
We'll go all the way back to 3. We'll go all the way
far
back.
back.
So crawfish for me, right? Crawfish is a huge deal for me. I love it. In
Right.
fact, I wish I would have brought it here to show you. I've got
I'm
a.
hungry.
I know, right? I've got
Did you say crawfish?
Oh yeah, I've got a newspaper clip from when I was 3 years old at Papa's on the Lake of me. I think it was the Conroe Courier of me sucking a crawfish head at 3 years old. Yeah, my dad got me into it. Been eating crawfish since I was a child. Love it. And
But you're self-made across the board, man.
Yeah,
you're an inspiration to me, and I, say myself a marketing guy, and Sam Houston State. Where's that camera at? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Sam Houston State Bearcats. But I always look at the self-made, and there's a lot of folks that work in this arena,
Right.
But there's only so much cream that comes to the top, and so many things that actually work. I every time I get frustrated about a competitor, gone within 6 months to a year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I have seen is run side by side with you for over a decade. I feel.
Right.
And I feel like that I've only seen growth. I've only seen you mature and your business mature and the things in your endeavors mature. There are keys to success that are not necessarily how good it tastes, or
Right.
how good your tastes are. And I may be wrong. And I was hoping that you'd come on today and tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm blessed, and every skill I have was given me by my Lord and Savior, and so I want to go ahead and start off by saying that, like any skill set I possess is not something that, it's just natural, and it's not my doing, and what I've done is what I will take credit for is I've developed a mindset to continue to just learn. I've learned a lot from you. I've learned a lot from a lot of people, and I continue to learn and try and implement those things and stay positive and do right. And, as you do those things over time, your skill sets blossom. And if you're, and I tell people, this is a famous quote, if you're always looking for a yellow car, you're going to see yellow cars all the time. I'm always looking for opportunities, and so they come. And when preparation meets opportunity, things happen. And, I'm by no means successful. And I almost feel embarrassed that people look up to me, right?
Quit it.
I feel like a lot of things we've done are great. But, I'm a small fish in a small pond, and I appreciate you saying the things you said, and I appreciate being here. And the biggest thing for us is I like to take care of the people that take care of me. I like to we have a great team. I would not be here without the team. I'd like to say I'm a fisher of men and women alike. I've found really great people to aid me in the things that we've done. My brother, one of them, Justin Ainsworth, big shout out to him. Yeah. He's my partner. And everything that I do, he is been there for me. He's the backboard to every bad and good idea I've ever had.
And you've got some core strength here in Conroe supporting
absolutely,
your endeavors.
Man. Awesome people, man.
Christy Leggett and a few others.
Lacey, Austin Sharpen. We've got Tebow. Her name is Jaylyn. She's amazing. We've got Alan. I've got an absolutely amazing team to surround myself with.
And strong people. I know those players.
No,
they're
awesome.
They're good at what they do.
And there's no way we would be where we are without them. You know what I mean? I have ideas, but I am more of a visionary than an integrator. And implementing those ideas is tough if you don't have the right skill sets. And so that's something I will pride myself in, is that I found the right people to associate with. I have a great family supporting me. So it's been good. But yeah, I digress on that. I mean, it's been amazing. But I'll tell you, we started with loving crawfish, and that evolved into really everything.
Started before that.
Yeah, everything that
you were good before that.
No, I think one of the first major ventures I got into was the Crawfish Critic. Even you knew me from Biz Connection. I had a large business network that we did. We had
his networking events were
it's amazing.
Strong. I mean, we're not.
Yeah, I think we had 800 when we had Mattress Matt come out to Big Texas. Yeah, we had 800 people. It was amazing.
Let me stop you. And I don't think anybody drifted to greatness. I mean, there was that one guy who proved you could go to the Solomon Islands from South America somehow. He built a balsa wood boat, and he literally drifted, and that was his greatest crowning achievement.
Right.
But I don't think, other than him, no one just drifted into greatness. You had to actually make an effort.
No, what you got to do is you got to fail over and over again and learn from it, and then never stop trying. And then that's what anybody can do it, though. Yeah. You just never quit. You have to learn from those failures. You have to get back up. You have to keep going, because I'm going to tell you, for every good thing I've done, I've failed 20 times before that. And in fact, what we're talking about now, Biz Connection, right? COVID hit. We were doing networking events. We had BNI style networking groups. In fact, they're still running. The Net was my original. The Net original group was the original group of Biz Connection. I love those people, and they took it and they kept running when I gave up on it.
But that's that social networking circle we talk about. Right. That.
It's very important.
Once you attach them, they're out of your control. You give them. You give that social equity.
Absolutely. And so, I've done a lot of cool things, but focus on events wise, it all started with the Crawfish Critic. And so, I'll tell you the original story of Crawfish Critic. Many people may not know this, that fall of the Crawfish Critic part. Just so you guys know, the Crawfish Critic is a Facebook group here in Montgomery County. It's 37,000 strong as of today. We just hit 37,000 people. They're all locals. We vet them. We don't allow, any outsiders to come in outside of the Montgomery County area. And so essentially what we do, though, is we go do reviews for crawfish restaurants. Sure. And it has really evolved the crawfish scene in this area. It's a really cool thing.
Somebody needed to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Damn. And so if I get one more crawfish about this big, I'm done, dude.
Well, we're in early season, right? Yeah,
Like,
we're in early
seriously.
season, all right? So
hard enough.
they say size doesn't matter, but apparently it does, right? Here we are.
It matters.
I mean,
But,
we're talking about crawfish.
Yeah.
and
No,
size.
absolutely.
Right.
Crawfish size matters, right? We'll get to that more, but I'm telling you right now, medium-sized crawfish is the best crawfish. They soak up the most juice and flavors, just so everybody knows. Side note. But
Okay.
the way the Crawfish Critic actually got started was I had a buddy, and his dad cooked the best crawfish I ever had growing up. Even better than my dad. Don't tell him, right? And I always told him, I said, I'm going to be successful one day. I'm going to buy your own restaurant. And I made him that promise since I was like 13 years old.
Wow.
I had a little success going. I had a little extra money. And he actually approached me and said, hey, you remember when you made me that promise? What do you think? And I said, well, what do you have in mind? He said, man, I think we could buy a full-size school bus and we could turn it into a crawfish boiling trailer and we could have a lot of success with it. My interest was piqued. I said, all right, do it. Get me the numbers. Let's see how it goes. He did all the work. He figured out bus, da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, it was a freaking nightmare. So my heart goes out to every crawfish boiling place that's out there because it is hard work. It is very hard work. And myself, I got into that business really to be an investor. But my mind went to, okay, if I'm going to give this guy a crawfish bus and partner with him, he's going to run it. How can I promote it? How can I market it? How can I get people to come eat our crawfish? I said, you know what? Me and my wife were sitting there one day, and big credit to her, Destiny, and we said, you know, we should come up with a Facebook group that tells everybody where the best crawfish is because guess what? We'll tell them we got the best crawfish, right?
Yeah.
So the Crawfish Critic is born. My wife actually named it. We said Crawfish Critic. We critique crawfish, right? Pretty cool. So we created the Crawfish Critic. We did our first big event. It was called Muddy Gras. So it's like a Mardi Gras, but with all the mud trucks, right? Well, guess what?
Nice.
We were the only food truck in this entire park with 3,000 hungry rednecks. And I love redneck. I'm a redneck myself, right? All right. But so we had so many people ordering from us that I feel like I blacked out for 8 hours. And then at the end of the 8 hours, I was like, yeah, I don't want to ever do that again. I
Are you
didn't.
man was
sourcing
like
your own
s-
crawfish too? Like you're
So
catching it?
shout out to Crawfish Nick, OG of this area. Okay, Crawfish Nick is the largest and most predominant wholesaler. He supplies the majority of the restaurants in this area. He supplies the majority of the.
He does all
the
kinds
retail.
of seafood
Oh,
now.
love it.
We
He
got
a
100
restaurant.
pounds of crab, blue crab from
Oh,
him.
he's doing blue crab,
I
shrimp.
was like, I
he's
want all
amazing.
male blues.
And he's been a huge supporter of the Critic since day one. And so
Yeah.
that's actually who I got my crawfish from on my first event.
Okay.
I did that first
Okay.
event. And I said, nope. I went and parked my bus that I built. I put like 30,000 into it. I went and parked out my storage unit. Now, it's still sitting there today. I won't sell it because that's like, for me, I don't want to sell it. It's like my
But you don't use it?
well, I'm gonna no, I don't use it at all. It sits there, it's rotting
It's
away, but it's my
sentimental.
thing,
Yeah.
and I don't want to sell it. And so I've went through the market and I've gotten offers and I just haven't done it. So we started the Crawfish Critic though, right? And I decided I don't want to be a crawfish boiler anymore. I don't want to own a bus or a restaurant. I parked it, right? But all of a sudden, this Crawfish Critic thing started really blowing up, right? All the restaurants started advertising on it, all the people, because myself included, my wife actually, she would call every restaurant. Now, back then, there wasn't a lot. We had Wolfie's, you had Sam's Boat, this is 8 years ago. You didn't have a whole ton of restaurants like we do now.
Right.
And so she would call the restaurant, she'd get their current market price and make sure they had availability, and she'd post on the Critic, and then we'd go actually eat at those restaurants, and I'd leave an honest review. Back then, I was an honest reviewer. I would say these were trash or these were amazing, right? I was very honest. Now I really do. I'll say 8 years later, I look at myself as more of a restaurant promoter versus a critic, because I realized 3 years in, my following had grown so much that if I left a bad review for a restaurant, it really hurt them.
It
You know,
does.
and that's not what I'm in this for. And so if I go to a restaurant nowadays and I eat crawfish that's subpar,
You ever thought the flip? Like, I don't have much money to spend, and I'm bringing my wife and family to go to dinner for the only time of the month we get to enjoy it, and we're extremely disappointed, and we go home
and
with
say,
our
Christian didn't tell us, right?
Well,
I see
yeah,
the point there,
you
and here's the
know.
thing. I think that if you read between the lines on my review, number one, that you'll know the ones I'm very hyped about and the ones that you don't see a review from me. So what I do now is I actually don't do a review if they're bad. So if I go to a place, what I'll do is I'll actually talk to the owner or the manager, and I'll explain to him my discrepancy of, hey, man, and I'll give them the best advice
we're just
I
starting
have.
to do
That's awesome.
Right, and I just let them know, hey, it's nothing against you. I know you saw me in today. You're probably going to be looking for a review. Don't, because there's nothing to say about it, right? And I actually had one like that the other day.
I respect
And
that.
I'll tell you
very
this: as far
respectable.
as driving traffic away from a restaurant, there are plenty of crawfish Critics is, here's the cool thing about the Crawfish Critic. It's not me. I'm not the Crawfish Critic. We, as a community, are Crawfish Critic, right?
Yeah.
So everyone that's what's
Right.
cool about a group versus a page. I am not a page. I am a group, and groups have members, and all of those members are Crawfish Critics, and so they go to the restaurants and they do their own reviews. So if you really want to know who has the best crawfish, go scroll my
Read
group.
them all, yeah.
And you go read them all, and you make your decision. I don't need to be the critic anymore. I don't need to go and hurt people or hurt businesses.
And I was just gonna say, I have gone down the TikTok rabbit hole of watching food critics go and try food and literally eat it on camera. I have done that several times, spent more hours probably than I want to admit. But, you know, a lot of the comments is people like, oh, I don't believe you. Like, I'm going to go try it for myself. So regardless of the positive or negative review, it's still driving traffic to the business. Not saying that, you know.
No,
I
you're
appreciate-
absolutely right.
Yeah, I
because
appreciate
that's
what you're
what'll
doing.
happen is you'll have people that'll do reviews. You know, everybody has a platform now.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the Crawfish Critic.
But your opinion's respected.
Absolutely. And so that's
you're
why
not
I try.
everybody. You're
I
not
don't,
that guy.
Yeah,
you're,
and I
you're
don't
knee
want to
deep
ever
in
hurt
the,
anyone.
in the crawfish.
So I look at myself as more of a pro. I'm here to go and promote the really great crawfish restaurants that are around. I'm not here to go and hurt the ones that are struggling. I
I
want
can
to help
respect
them.
an opinion.
I want to help them.
I respect
You
your
know?
opinion.
Yeah.
I really, if we have the similar taste. I mean, I used to promote wines and things like that, and people were like, "You have a really light palate." And I'm
Right.
like, "What? Silver Oak's amazing." And they're like, "No, it's really light. You know, you're a Pinot guy. I'm a Chilean. You know, I take the hard reds, the big reds. What you love is not what I love.
Absolutely.
So they don't enjoy my wine sense as somebody else. But in respects, I follow you and I enjoy your reviews and I enjoy your perspective because I agree with you, right? And I agree with your taste, right? So, and it's not so diverse. I mean, I mid versus huge would be our only
I
problem.
love that you brought that up because that is exactly right. You know, personal preference is so important. Now, with crawfish, there are certain things that aren't preference. Were they juicy or were they not? And that's where we're going to get into with the SCCA and the Crawfish Cook-Off League. Were they juicy or were they not? Do you suck the crawfish head? Do you like the juice and the flavor that comes from that? Were they juicy or were they not? Right? Were they bland or were they flavorful? Now that flavor comes down to preference. You may like a butter garlic flavor where you like more of a traditional Cajun. That's all preference, right? But did they pill well or were they overcooked and they're sticking in the shell? Or were they undercooked, right? That is not preference. That's fact. So there are certain facts on whether a crawfish restaurant did their thing right. And then there are certain preferences as far as flavor. And so what we try and do is obviously highlight the facts. Right? They peeled well. They were very juicy. Now, I love these because they were a spicy butter garlic sauce. Now, which is something crazy. If you're from
Cajun butter.
Louisiana, oh my God. You talk about sauce crawfish in Louisiana, people lose their minds. They lose it. They want a traditional soaked crawfish. That seasoning goes in the boil. I agree. But if you have a good seasoned crawfish in the boil, the water season, and it gets into the tail meat and the head's juicy, and then you put a good spicy butter garlic sauce on top.
I know. I was talking to some of my
It's the
boys in
best.
Jersey, and I was telling them, you know, we put little sasheries on it, dip it in that butter, and he's like, "What's sasheries?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't even know what I'm talking about, let alone what it tastes like. I mean." I don't even know how to explain it. You know,
crazy.
Wow. Well, you ain't living, are you?
Right.
Yeah.
I also have no
You know,
idea what
lots
that
of that. And you know, do you know what sasheries is?
is. No.
Tony Sashes?
Oh, Tony's.
know
Yeah,
Tony's.
you,
The
you
season
haven't
it
seen
all.
Tony
Tony's
Sashes.
with the
Yeah,
Tony's on it.
I got
Yeah.
Dude, I put it on my eggs. I'm like,
Put that on.
Well, they say put that on everything. That's slap your mama, huh? Shout out to them too. That's a good one, man. But that's really how the crawfish critic started. It's where we're at with it now. And I'll tell you really what's interesting and where it's evolved to. So we started this group. We went in. We grew every year. I think by the end of the first year, we were at 2,500 members. End of the second year, 5,000. Now we're at 37,000 as of today, and it's been a great thing, right? All local. So here's the funny thing. Everybody kept asking, "Who's got the best crawfish? Who got the best crawfish? Who got the best crawfish?" I said, well, "You know what? Why don't we do a cook-off?" Now I got the best crawfish. I'll kick it back. I said, "Why don't we do a cook-off and really see who has the best crawfish?" So 6 years ago, this will be our 6th year. This year, we hosted the first annual crawfish Crawfish Critic Cook-Off. Now, for those of you who are doing some math, you know what 6 years was? What 6 years ago was? COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Boom.
Oh.
So I get into it. I'm planning this thing starting October. We're going. I think I'm planning the event for April or something like that. And then COVID hits at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And guess what? All the events start canceling. Guess what? I don't roll like that, buddy. I held the event anyways through all the adversity, all the you gotta stay home and sanitize. Yeah, okay. You guys go get your vaccine shots. All my Montgomery County conservatives,
Yeah.
y'all come out.
Yeah.
All right, put your big middle fingers in the air to the government and their stay-at-home sanctions. And we went and we had our event. Now, we didn't break any county guidelines. We didn't break any. I want to start by saying that we were completely legal in what we did. We had an
Right.
outdoor event. What I will say though is that the news in Houston, they didn't want to talk about that when I went on the news, right? They wanted to talk about the best crawfish. They wouldn't let me talk about my event though. So that was kind of like so we did it anyways. Guess what? We sold out 3,000 tickets. First event I'd ever hosted at the brewery right down here. The what's it?
Southern Star.
Southern Star Brewery. We sold out the brewery of beer. It was insane.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And they're wall to wall. I don't know if you've been in there,
it
but
was
that
crazy.
is the distributor. They
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
make it there, and
Yeah,
it's
they
the
do.
mothership of beer.
Everybody had been home, and everybody was sick of it. And
Yeah,
so
they're
I
like,
gave
let's
them
go
an
out.
event.
Yeah.
And what was crazy, too, is all the other events had canceled. Nobody wanted to
Yeah.
host their events,
Yeah.
everybody. And so when I did, everybody who feels like me in that whole scenario of COVID, I think now we can go back and look. If you have a problem with anything I just said about go back and look at the research. There was a big fraud, right? That whole stay home crap, the way it was, we don't have to get into all that. But seriously, it was a big fraud, and we all saw through it. And so everybody saw through it, came out, and we had an amazing event. Now this year, moving forward, we've had a great event every year. We're on our 6th annual event this year. We're expecting 7,500 people hosting at Montgomery County Fairgrounds May 16th and 17th. It's all you can eat. And
All tickets are 2-day tickets,
all
right?
tickets are 2-day tickets,
Okay.
right? So we typically have the kickoff party Friday. It's going to be a great time. So basically all the teams, they set up Thursday.
Yeah.
And then they get to bring all their sponsors out who are helping them offset some of their costs, right? They cook for their sponsors. They party. We usually get some good bands in. Stell Crackers there every year with me. So if you guys know Stell Crackers, we're about to get into that evolution of everything. But Stell Crackers there. I get all my social media influencers, content creators, all the Cajun folks come out. And we have a big party Friday. We call it the kickoff party. And then Saturday is the all-you-can-eat cook-off. You get to go to every one of those teams, 40 of them, and these are the best teams around. And you get to eat all their crawfish and figure out which ones you like. And I'm telling you, the difference in flavor between them all is absolutely
I
incredible.
gotta say, man, hey, you need to consider a few categories, side categories. I mean,
Yeah.
even the rodeo's got beans.
Oh, no, we do. We do. So, no, so last year, we did.
What about etouffee? What about gumbo?
Yeah, so
Chef
we
Alliance.
just hosted a Cajun cook-off, and so we do those as well, gumbo and jambalaya category. So last year with our cook-off, we did a Cajun Open, which was my most favorite thing to judge. Oh, it was amazing. So basically, every team got the opportunity to cook whatever Cajun dish they wanted. It could have been etouffee, it could have been gumbo, it could have been jambalaya, and they turned that in. It was their choice. We call it Chef's Choice. That was amazing side dish.
But you work a lot of events through the Gulf Coast.
Oh yeah,
Tell me a little bit
that's
about
what
some
we're
of
gonna
these
get
guys.
involved into. All
Let's
right,
get
so
there.
check this out. So
Yeah.
so
Doesn't stop here.
I'm
right?
gonna no. This is crazy,
He's a
man.
man
But
of
you
many
help
talents.
us.
This
It's the association.
This thing evolved. It blew up. The SCCA, Southern Crawfish Cook-Off Association. Let's talk about the backstory. So,
Yeah.
I'll give credit where credit is due. My first event coordinator, when I approached her, she was actually hosting events herself, Crawfish Cook-Off. So I said, "Hey, I got this big group. I got all these people that want to do it. I've never hosted a Crawfish Cook-Off. Could you, show me the ropes?" And she was like, "Yeah, let's do it together." I said, "Awesome." She said, "Hey, did you ever think about maybe doing a cook-off league similar to what they do in barbecue? Because there's nothing like that for crawfish." And I said, "Ding! Oh my God, what a great idea!" Because she had her cook-off, and Exit 73 had their cook-off, 9th annual, by the way. It's going to be amazing. April 27th at Exit 73. They've got
That's
their
the Woodlands, right past 2920,
is,
right
yeah.
there before you get to
Right
Redwood
on exit
Sawdust on the
73.
right-hand side.
Yeah.
Exit
Exit 73,
yeah.
yeah, in the
Just
barn.
in case everybody doesn't
No,
know
it's amazing.
exactly where that place is.
It's amazing. Google it, and they got a 9th annual cook-off. So they're the OGs of crawfish cook-offs in this area. So they had theirs, and we actually met at Exit 73 with the owners of Exit 73. When her and I were talking, she had her event, I had mine. We were the three, right? I was going to become the third, right? And so we're like, yeah, dude, a league, right? And so like the way barbecue leagues work is all these cook teams, they compete in these different events throughout the year, and depending on what place they come in, they get points, and those points then get them access to the World Championship. So I love the idea, but guess what?
That's the way the fishing tournament works.
Exactly, a lot of different.
I can't
things
go Bass
like
Pro
that.
unless
Yeah.
I've accumulated so much
So
through
many
the year, through the
of
season,
the other events,
wins
right?
a participation. Go
Exactly.
ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's exactly right. It's very similar to that. Barbecue, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things that run similar to that. I love the idea, but you know what? It wasn't the right time for me. This was a side thing for me. I had other businesses going. I had other ventures going. And the crawfish thing, like I said, I parked the bus, right? It was just kind of fun, right? And so this cook-off was kind of the same thing. It was kind of fun. I donated all my money to charity the first few years. And so I didn't really, we talked about the idea. We never did anything with it. Well, her and I ended up parting ways after my second annual Crawfish Critic Cook-Off. I partnered with Charlie Diggs for the third and fourth, and Charlie's an awesome guy. I learned a lot from him. He's doing his things, doing amazing. I ended up going full-time and building my own team for this fifth annual that was last year. And I said, it's time. It is time to do this league. And so the fourth annual cook-off, which last year was the fifth, so the year before last, I invited Stellcracker. Now, he's a huge part of the story. Stellcracker's 13 million followers. If you don't follow him on social media, he's absolutely hilarious. He's a crazy Cajun that does all kinds of Cajun stuff and cooks Cajun food.
Right?
He's
He
a
cooks.
great
I've
cook.
seen him cook.
Oh, he's crazy. I
was
love
like,
the guy.
Does he talk as well, or am I just going to learn how to make this?
Yeah, he's amazing. So
Kinda learn
I
how
actually
to- kinda.
invited, and hats off to my dad. My dad told me, he's like, dude, you should hit up Stellcracker and have him come out.
Your
to the
dad
event.
told you
my
that?
My dad told me that. And I
Dang.
said, you know what, that's a good idea. So I hit him up. He put me in touch with his manager. I hired him. I paid him, $5,000 to come out to my event. And it was the best money I'd ever spent in my life. There was a line a mile long of people standing in the blazing hot sun to just meet this guy and get his honor. I mean, people love him. And the amount of people that came to that event, the fifth annual Crawfish, or the fourth annual Crawfish Crew, it was a massive success. And I attribute a lot of that success to Stellcracker being so much fun and being there. Not only did he bring people, but he entertained the people that were already coming. I mean, it was a great thing. But I had this idea in my head. I said, when Stellcracker gets here, I'm going to pitch him on partnering with me on the SEC. I had it all put together, right? So he gets there, and I'm like, all right, man, I got him. And we hung out all Friday night, got to know each other, right? Just me and him rolling around the event, me introducing him to people. And we got to the point, I said, we were drinking. I said, hey, I got an idea I want to talk to you about. And I gave him the whole spiel, and it was exactly what we're doing right now. That vision was dialed in, baby. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I knew how to bring it to life. I needed a face. I needed someone outside of Montgomery County, right, that can get the Cajun world to come into this together, right? And so I went to Stellcracker. I said, this is my idea. Would you want to be a part? He said, I'm drunk. Let's talk about it later.
Is that how he talks all the time?
Oh, dude, that's him. He's not a character in a show. He
just
is
him.
That's just him.
Okay.
It just ends up being a character. I
Well,
love
let's
the guy.
do this. Let's do this.
Yeah,
if I can.
Absolutely.
I want to take a quick time out, and I wanted to thank everyone for watching the Texas Ticket Show here on Lone Star Community Radio, and remind you of the Texas Ticket Show is an event-based program. We talk about local events and local happenings here in the area. This week we're featuring the Hunger Crush Bikes and Classics Car Meetup over at Hunger Crush Cafe, and that's Saturday. It's tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Go over there and have a cup of coffee, look at the cars and classics, no judging, no prizes, none of that stuff. It's just gearheads hanging out, having a good time, supporting one another. And every time you order a Hunger board, they're going to donate to the Montgomery County Food Bank. So go out and support those guys. If you have a classic car, just go park it out there and hang out with the fellas and everyone else. I mean, there are some wonderful rides, and a lot of folks show up. Did you have something you wanted to mention really quick on a side note?
I appreciate it. So Iconic Homes has an event for the public. Anybody can come, and that's going to be on March 1st.
March 1st.
Through the 2nd.
And Iconic Homes, I know the name.
It's a new home builder.
Yeah.
And they do give back to the community. So it's just kind of like, hey, show up. They give a bunch of help towards closing costs. They're a big part of like Homes for Heroes. So like nurses, firefighters, military, first responders. So they give back to the community.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Haley, Diamond & Co. has a little Valentine's line that you're bringing out?
Yeah. Our Valentine's Day our Valentine's Day collection is live, and you can order your Valentine's Day jammies through January 31st to get them before the holiday.
And where can they find that out?
They can find that at www.diamonds-co.com, and that is DYMONDS-co.com.
It's a nice website.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you build it?
I did. I built it on Shopify.
Didn't you? Yeah. That's fantastic.
I also have a WordPress website for like my blog and my personal influencer type sort of things, I guess.
Very
that
cool.
side.
Love
But
it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Super. Folks, we'll be right back after this with more of the Texas Ticket Show here on Lone Star Community Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Lone Star Radio on my mind. So won't you kick your feet up if you have.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Welcome back to the Texas
Lone
Ticket
Star
Show. Waldo.
Radio.
and Haley.
Really. And, of course, Christian Waldo, Shannon Moreno. Glad everybody's here today.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be here.
I am just knee deep in the crawfish. And you had a question. You had a question you wanted to ask Mr.
I
Waldo
did.
on the break.
Okay.
We chatted.
So I have
You
some
ask it.
snooty crawfish eaters.
Get close to that mic.
Okay, so
Very snooty crawfish
I have
eaters.
some snooty crawfish eaters that won't touch crawfish because they say, "Oh, did you know that when you break the crawfish and you pull it, that yellow substance is their poop."
No.
I'm not
What
saying
the-
it is. I'm asking a crawfish expert.
That's flavor.
What is that?
I'm
Is it?
sure that is a
Is this
common
just spice
misconception.
flavor?
Yeah.
Misconception.
Please
Okay,
tell
okay,
me.
okay. It's a misconception.
Yeah,
Please
you know,
tell
You
me.
don't know what you don't know. So that's a
Yeah.
great question. And so basically, when you break a crawfish open, that yellow stuff, that is the fat of the crawfish. Yeah.
So it's not,
Not
poop.
poop. No, and-
we are
and-
not eating poop.
No.
It's crawfish chicharrones.
Now there is a poop line, just like a shrimp. You know,
Okay.
crawfish have a vein that run down their tail, and
Okay.
that is their poop line. So, but it's very easy to remove, right? You just pull it off, right? It's very easy. It's even easier than
the
shrimp.
salt purge? that
No,
right?
whoa. So, all right, that's another very common myth and misconception is you can purge crawfish with salt. You can absolutely not purge them with salt. It will kill them. They are a freshwater crustacean, okay? So here's the thing. Doing it with salt does absolutely nothing. The only way you can purge a crawfish is if you leave them in water for 24 hours, and it has to be well water, right? It has to be aerated, right? And basically what will happen is they'll become clean, okay? So, you have crawfish live in mud. They're muddy. They're dirty.
Right.
So if you buy crawfish to cook in your backyard, the only thing you want to do is you want to stick you a hose in a cooler with all your crawfish, and you want to mix it all up, and you want to clean all the mud off of them. That's all you're going to do. Now, what farmers can do is they can actually put those crawfish in industrial purge tanks. It's well water, it's aerated, and basically it bubbles and it cleans them out. And as they poop and they poop, right?
What if I feed him Tony Sacheries?
Yeah, we feed them the Tony Sacheries in the pot, right? That's
Okay.
Seasoning goes in the pot, right?
So don't expect.
No.
All right, I'm overthinking it.
No,
I'm
but yeah,
dead.
people love the fat. Back to your
dead.
question, people love it.
Yeah.
I personally don't, but some people will literally rip the head open and scoop the fat out and eat it because if they cook it right, the seasoning gets into it. I'm not a huge fan of the fat, but some people love it, and you'll see like people eating crawfish, they'll rip the head open and stick their finger in the.
Well, I can eat
Gouge out
better.
all the
Well, I
fat,
can eat
so.
better when I'm peeling it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's
that's
not
how I
poop.
do it.
No,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
fat."
I'd
Okay,
throw
I
the fat
asked
off
an
of it.
expert. I interviewed an expert.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
Self-proclaimed, right? So.
All right. What about the best place to catch them here?
Catch them. You're not going to
Ah,
catch many
yeah.
here. Now towards Beaumont area, you have some farms. You have some farms out in Anahuac. I hope I said that right. The Anahuac, they got some farms out there. But, the majority of Texas crawfish comes from the motherland, Louisiana. Right, so I'll tell you some good places to get crawfish. So you can go to Crawfish Nick's. I'll put them on the map. I love them. I've been putting them on the map since the beginning. They're the OGs of wholesale. So if you want to buy your own live crawfish, or you have a restaurant and you're looking to look for a supplier, Crawfish Nick's a great guy to sell you live crawfish. Now favorite. Now, I'm not even going to say, I'm going to give you a top 4. I'm going to give you a top 4 crawfish I've had this year. Number 1, and in no particular order, Caleb's Crawfish is really great. Love Caleb's. He's off of 1488 near Magnolia High School. Okay. I love South Texas Tells, Taylor McKenzie. Those guys are awesome, and Christian Sanders. They have 2 locations, one at the 1488 Moonshine Deck, and they also have one out a little further that I'm probably not going to go to because it's a long drive. It's out there near Navasota.
Oh, wow.
And this is who I've eaten this year. It's been really good. One of the best that they actually won Crawfish of the Year last year. I always do a poll in my group, and that's the Texas Crawfish Company, formerly known as Big Cabs Crawfish. Absolutely phenomenal. Love them. And Swamp Donkeys. Swamp Donkeys is phenomenal. They're all good in their own ways.
I've heard of them.
They're all good in their own ways. Swamp Donkeys has a really good spicy butter garlic sauce that I really love. And then I'll throw another one in there, an honorary mention, is Josh Flores with Bayou Boiled Seafood. He's a championship crawfish team. In fact, Taylor McKenzie is also a championship crawfish team. He won my Crawfish Critic Cook-Off last year, so shout out to him. Josh came in 4th place in the entire SCCA with Bayou Boiled Seafood. He's at Conroe Ice House right here in Conroe.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So he's actually one of the ones that's closest to us where we are right now. He's amazing. He started there. He came in 4th place in the SCCA. So pretty cool, man. Those are some of my honorable mentions for crawfish restaurants.
Here in
Montgomery
Texas,
County.
I've seen some strange things with crawfish. I mean, when we were little kids, we'd run the bayous and catch them, and we'd pull them out here in ditches and bayous in Houston. I mean, we're the Bayou City, and there's a lot of crawfish in there. But when we were out on Lake Dunlop and New Braunfels and the Frio and some of these things, every now and then all the residents would tell us that all the crawfish come out. They just start coming up on the shore like something happened in the water. Or
they have seasons, right? And so, you have, those little mounds that you find and things. That's where they go burrow when it gets cold.
Why do they all come out like that?
Well, they all come out when it gets a little warmer. They want to eat. That's how they come out and eat. So they actually hibernate. And so, when it's cold, they go in those little burrows and they hibernate. And then they come out. And, I couldn't tell the exact reason why today they came out when yesterday they didn't. Seasonally wise, though, they do hibernate in those holes. And then they come out when the weather's better for them. So.
And you have to cook them live, right?
You should absolutely, you do not want to cook a dead crawfish. You want to cook them live just like a lobster, right? And so, that's one of the big things a lot of these guys will do is they'll pour their crawfish sacks into the cooler like I'm talking about. And one of the parts of cleaning your crawfish is all the dead ones float to the top. You want to get those out because they could have died 2 days ago, right? And then you've got a rotten crawfish that you don't want to eat, right? And so I want to break this myth as well. Straight tail crawfish, fine to eat. There's nothing. If I took 30 crawfish, so it used to be a myth. I don't know if you're familiar, where that if you don't eat the straight tails, it's completely a myth. Okay, LSU Ag, they came out and did a study on it, and Stellcracker did a video on it as well. You could take 30 dead crawfish, gray eyes, completely dead. You boil them; they're all going to have curled tails. The only reason you have a straight tail crawfish is because when they got thrown in the pot with all the other crawfish, they got cooked, and their tail, because they were all smushed together, it was straight, so it just cooked out. When a crawfish dies, it curls up, right? Just like an ant or anything else like that. And so if you boil a bunch of dead crawfish, they're still going to have curled tails. So straight tail's a myth. Let's get that out of the way.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So anyways, you want
Thanks
to
for
boil
clearing that
them
up.
live for sure.
Okay.
So.
Well, I do love some crawfish, and I wanted to give a shout out to the Snows with their tasty Cajun butter.
Oh, I love that stuff, man.
Huge fan.
I'll tell you, Ro has been an admin of the Crawfish Critic since day one. So she helps keep the scammers out. Tons of scammers in Facebook groups and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
They want to come in. And
Really?
what's crazy is the crawfish community has a ton of scammers. They'll go, like these guys from other countries.
Somebody bought some tickets or was selling your tickets.
Well, you have those types of scammers. Every event has scammers like that. Oh, sign up with me for a vendor and you pay the vendor fee.
We couldn't go. We would like to sell our tickets.
Right.
I'm like, it's a free event.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
So you have those scammers, but there's different scammers that they'll go and create. It'll say like live crawfish sales, and it'll be a Facebook page, a faceless Facebook page, right? And then they'll be like, oh, you want to order a sack of crawfish, put a down payment for $50, and you Venmo them $50 to lock your order in, and they block you. So we have a lot of scammers, and so Ro with Stacy Cajun Butter has been a huge part of helping us keep those scammers out of our group and keeping our group.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You sound like she's a mechanic. They make some good butter to put on your crawfish.
That's right.
Woo!
And
My mouth
she is
talking.
everywhere. She comes out to all the events, huge supporter, and she has some of the best butter to put your potatoes and dip your crawfish tails. I mean, it goes on anything, really. But, yeah, they're awesome.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I'm all about it. And I've known those guys since I was a little kid. And, man, they didn't have anything to do with butter. But now it's like.
Oh, they're the butter kings, man.
You got some of that butter? And he's like,
Right.
well, yeah. Like, all right. Well, it's just fantastic. And the side of spice, I'm always the side of sasheries. I think we're all grateful to have somebody in our community that, one, we can respect that you're going to give us a good viewpoint on what you taste, what
Right.
you're eating. I don't have to go and try out because every time I go, it's
There's
close
40,
to $100.
50 restaurants,
It's
yeah.
$100
How
every
do you know
time.
which ones
you
to go
come to
to?
bat, it's $100 at least.
Right.
Like a beer, we're getting 6. I can eat 6 to 10 pounds. You were saying you and your wife can eat how many pounds?
Usually my wife and I will start with 5. We'll
The
share
kids.
those, and then she'll eat some quesadillas or something, and then I may get another couple.
Yeah.
I could probably put down 5 to 7, depending on how spicy they are. If they're
Well,
real
families doing
spicy,
5 to
I'm
10.
chilling.
I'm in the 5 to 10 bracket with family eating and family
Right.
dining.
Right.
And I think that's fair to leave full, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you're talking, easy $100 once you pay for a couple
Yeah.
beers.
$100
Yeah.
for
Get the-
$100.
yeah.
Any way you cut it, whichever place I choose.
Yep.
Yep.
So I really like to get that refined, so I'm not experimenting
Right.
with our
Right.
one night out or our couple nights out. So I love the idea that you're there, and everyone else in your community,
Right.
there at the crawfish community, and what you're doing. It's meaningful in other ways, right? I mean. We all like some crawfish here in Texas and, the Gulf Coast, but, it's much better to find, to refine our someone that can guide us, a guide, when we leave our little area and we start talking about Gulf Coast or traveling and things like that and other events, and I like to travel for events. I like to go to a concert in Waco. I love to go to places like Tyler to see Charlie Crockett play or
Right.
something, and things that don't always come to this town. I think it's my reason for being there. But food is the other main reason, other than good live music and food. I really and Louisiana has earned a lot of respect in Lafayette and Baton Rouge and some of the other places that bring on some of the best cuisine I've ever had in my life. And
Right.
and I've toured the whole U.S. in different ways and in different places. And man, Baton Rouge and Lafayette just running the show.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're the Blue Dog Cafe, the French Press, the list goes on and on of other really great restaurants, world renowned.
Lafayette's got to go on. Speaking of Lafayette, that's actually where we decided to host the World Championship Cook-Off every year. And so, kind of before we took break, I was talking a little bit about Stel Cracker and how him and I, came together to form the SCCA.
Is he from Lafayette?
No, he's actually, I don't know originally where he's from. I can't remember. It's one of those towns, right? But he actually lives in Kentwood and
Okay.
works in Kentwood, Meat. Kentwood, that area, which is where his huge event is that we host with him every year.
Wow.
It's called the Cajun Two-Step Fest. Phenomenal event. This will be his 3rd year that he's doing it. Probably have about 10,000 people out there at his property. It's a phenomenal event. So if you guys are in the mood for travel, okay, go down to Kentwood, Louisiana. It's going to be April 5th. It's going to be a phenomenal event out there. Yeah.
In Lafayette there was a place called T-Coons, and I'm sure Stel Cracker knows exactly.
Oh,
what
I'm sure,
talking
yeah.
about, right? And they got conies on the buffet, not back of the menu as a token item to say, hey, we serve rabbit.
Right.
No, it's on the buffet. So they're alligator. All kinds of crazy stuff that I would deem crazy as a Texan, and I'm not Cajun, I'm not Zydeco, I'm not Louisiana. But man, I love you.
Right.
I mean, and I'll come for the food because I know there's a variety, something I want to eat different every night. And
Right.
But you've got some other things, and we were talking about offline earlier about how a lot of these amazing events that happen in and around Texas and Louisiana that we're just not privy to.
Absolutely, man. So that's why we started the SCCA.
SCCA, yeah.
And so I came to Stel Cracker. I talked to him. I said, hey, we should do this, and he was on board. And from there, everybody was on board. I mean, everybody who had a crawfish cook, I think it's the coolest thing in the world. The cook teams love it. And so essentially how it works is you have all these different events. We go all the way to Florida. We got Texas events, Mississippi events, Louisiana events, and we even have some events in Florida. And so these events, they get sanctioned by us. We all run under standardized rules, right, which is really cool. So everybody kind of runs on the same rules. So if you compete in an SCCA event, you know what to expect. You know how it's going to be judged. You know that it's going to be judged fairly. You know that it's going to be done the right way and that you have a fair shot at winning and not the friend of one of the cook-offs is going to win, right? And so
And the best of all the locals.
And the locals
The
love
best
it.
of 'em.
Yeah, they all come out and they love it. And these
But
cook-offs.
these teams, they're from local, right?
Well,
From where
you
go.
have teams that travel all over. I have teams
Okay.
that are down in Montgomery County that go all the way up to Kentwood to go compete in Stellcrackers
Really?
event. They'll go to Mississippi. They'll go to Midland, Texas, all the way from Montgomery County. These teams, because here's the thing, right? The more events you compete in, the better you do in these events. You earn points. Now, here's the craziest thing, right? So you earn points throughout the year. The top 50 teams that earn the most amount of points get an invite to the SCCA Super Bowl World Championship. Now, I named it Super Bowl to be a play on Super Bowl, right? And so it's Super Bowl World Championship Cook-Off. Now, what we've done is we've actually evolved the SCCA from a crawfish cook-off league, the first and only out there, to a Cajun cook-off league, also the first and only out there. So now we actually sanction gumbo and jambalaya cook-offs as well. And so this event will be the 50 best crawfish teams, 50 gumbo teams, and 50 jambalaya teams, all competing for the world championship in their individual categories. Now, here's the best part for the attendees, for all of you guys listening. When you come to an event like that, guess what? Your ticket allows you to eat as many samples as you want from all 150 of those teams. You want to eat gumbo? You can try 50 different gumbos, 50 different jambalayas, 50 different crawfish, and you can eat until your heart's content.
I'm already full.
Isn't that the greatest thing?
You know, I heard about some guy getting on the PETA watch list. And
Oh,
I thought
dude.
This was a comedy strip. You know, like, I get on PETA watch. There's an app, and
I
there's a
can't
red
s-
dot at my house saying, don't bring your pets over.
I can't say he's on the PETA watch list, but what and PETA
I'm
is in the
dead.
pet organization, right?
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
not to be
But they
confused
were
with pedo,
involved-
right?
They were
He's not on the pedo watch list, all right? No, PETA.
PETA. Pet animals.
Make it
Yeah. Okay.
clear.
I just want to make sure. So when we talk about this guy, he's like,
not
bro,
pedo.
everybody thought I was on the pedo watch.
No, but
list.
they were inflicting on the Guinness Book of
Yes,
World
yes.
Records
And
event.
so
Yeah.
that's one of the events we sanctioned there in
Yeah.
Texas City. It's called the Big Ass Crawfish Bash. It is the largest event in the SCCA. It is the largest event in Texas. And they actually hold the Guinness Book of World Records for boiling the most amount of crawfish in a single day. I can't tell you the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around 50 or
But we're not allowed to
60,000
do
pounds.
this. We're not allowed to do that anymore.
Well, they're not allowed to put it in the Guinness Book of World Records. Apparently PETA, right, the PETA or whatever the hell they're called, they went and said, "Oh, this is boiling crawfish while they're alive. It's animal cruelty." It's like, oh, okay, guys, yeah,
It's a bug.
there's some liberals out in New York, you know, I'm sure. So anyways.
Okay, but wait, before you leave Super Bowl,
All right, yeah, okay.
we got one coming up.
Yes,
I mean,
we
you're
do.
Too close to
the World Championship Cook-Off is April 25th and 26th. That's in Broussard, Louisiana, right outside of Lafayette. It is going to be amazing. It is open to the public. You guys have got to get tickets. Now, here's where you find where all these events are at. SCCA Cookoffs, plural.com, and you'll be able to find all the cook-offs that are sanctioned by us, all the crawfish cook-offs, the gumbo cook-offs, the jambalaya
What does
cook-offs.
membership cost? Like if I own a restaurant, we sell tons of crawfish, and we want to be a member.
If you're a cook-off and you want to be a member, it is $200
Do I
to get
gotta
sanctioned
cook?
with us. Yeah, you're a cook-off. You're a host. We don't sanction cook teams.
What if my Cajun restaurant wants to?
If you want to be a cook team and you want to go compete and cook,
I
it's
gotta send a team. if I
yeah,
wanna put the
right.
sticker on
Yeah,
my
we don't have a
window?
membership to be a part of the SCCA. You can be a cook team in the SCCA, or you can be a sanctioned cook-off in the SCCA, right?
So if my restaurant sends,
If your restaurant
my
wants,
team,
yeah, then you could
can
be
put your
you
sticker
could
in
be
my
a
window?
sanctioned cook team. Yeah, you could be a sanctioned cook team with the SCCA,
Okay.
and you can go compete in all these events.
Yeah,
And obviously, the goal is to win your local events, collect trophies. It's a lot of fun. The camaraderie of meeting other cook teams. I mean, you know how many friendships have been fostered, you know, by just hanging out with all these different people, all these different like-minded people who love cooking crawfish, love cooking gumbo jambalaya, and then you know, also we're all pretty competitive people. So you know, you want to earn these points so that you can be one of the 50 out of 500 teams to go and get invited to this world championship. Because, man, wait till you see the guy who wins that. The bragging rights you have. I am the world champion crawfish cook-off team. Out of 500 teams, I'm the best, right? And that hardware, and every year there'll be a new one. Maybe the guy will win 2 years in a row. We'll see.
I know exactly where we're going instead of where do you want to go. I don't know.
Right,
I
hey,
don't
you know,
this place, this
Taylor,
place, I don't know.
That I have a quick question.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had one dish or like a team that you're like, how did you do this?
Oh, every time I go to a cook-off. I mean,
Really?
I'll tell you, it is so amazing with crawfish, the different flavor profiles. Now, all of them in a cook-off, right? We judge it. This is how we judge. We judge flavor is number one most important thing.
Okay.
Second thing is juiciness, okay? Third thing is pillability. Does it pill well, right? Then you have
What does that mean?
Pillability is how well. So if you overcook a crawfish, it's going to stick in the shell. It's not going to pill well. Right? When I pill a crawfish,
Too
it
long.
should
Okay,
slide
got it.
right out of that
Got it.
shell
Got
very
it.
easily,
Good
right?
deal. Okay, got it.
So
I'm sorry.
pillability, your texture, your crawfish, which those go pretty hand in hand. If you overcook it, it's gonna have you're gonna know the texture's not right, and it could be rubbery or it could be mushy, right? So you want a good in the middle, right? Baby bear, just right. All right. So that's kind of your texture, and then you have your spice level. Now, as far as flavor, that's 100% preference, right? I may like a certain type of flavor, you don't. As far as juiciness, it is juicy or it's not. Either it pills or it doesn't. Either it has good texture or it doesn't. And then as far as spice level, that goes back to preference. All right.
Right.
Now, when we do our cook-off judging, I tell the judges, said, look, if it's way too spicy, dock them, right? You're going to give them a lower score. If it's not spicy enough for your preference, give them a lower score. You want the baby bear
Happy
just
medium.
right. Exactly right. And so all four of us, if we ate
Gotcha.
10 different crawfish, we would probably judge that spice differently
Got
and the
every
flavor
single
as
one,
well
yeah.
because it comes to preference, which is why you want a good judges panel and you want to be able to, really explain to them what the different categories are and how to understand how to be a good judge, which is what the SCCA does. So we actually certify head judges. We send a head judge to every event. That head judge then trains the other judges on how to judge crawfish, right? And so they're certified head judges, and we said every event has one. And that's kind of how that works. But yeah, it's amazing. And then it all leads up to the Super Bowl World Championship. So 2 events I want to shout out. I want to shout out the Super Bowl World Championships. It's April 25th and 26th out in Broussard, Louisiana. You can get your cook-off tickets at sccacookoffs.com.
I'm going.
Now, locally, we have the Crawfish Critic Cook-Off 6th Annual. That's going to be
Okay.
at
16th and 17th.
That's May
Yeah.
16th and 17th at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. You can also buy those tickets at sccacookoffs.com. So that's the other thing
That's
that
the
I want
Friday party, the Saturday cook-off.
Exactly right.
Both included. Every
Yeah.
ticket's a 2-day
So
ticket.
one
Got
unique
it.
thing we've done with the SCCA is we
it.
actually, Stellcracker and I invested and developed our own ticketing software. What I really wanted was I wanted the SCCA website to keep the traffic there and to allow these cook-offs to have a platform to sell their tickets on. And so instead of going to Eventbrite or going to any of these
Exactly.
other ones, they can actually buy the tickets straight on our website. And my biggest thing with the ticket sales system is the customer experience. I can go right now and buy a ticket for any of these events within 38 seconds. I've timed it. And the reason being is we have Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal. It autofills your information from your phone. So when you go buy a ticket on my account, you're literally going to go in there, press autofill, put your name information, hit Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, or put your card information in. It's going to immediately get you a ticket emailed to you with the QR code. You come to my gate scaff, they scan it in. It's a phenomenal ticketing
efficient.
software. And then we're actually taking that and expanding it to where now any festival, any event can use our ticketing software. And what's really great about it, what I love, is I'm an event coordinator myself. So I knew the technology. I knew the technology that I wish I had access to, and so I put it all in one. And so now you get a full service integrated CRM. And for those who are event coordinators, they should know CRM is where we can send emails, all that fun stuff. You get all these different features, and so we actually created a company called Event Tech 360, and that is 360 degrees. Everything you need for an event technology wise, you can get through us. And so you can contact us, and if you have an event, we'd love to work with you
And
on
Christian,
doing your event tech.
In closing on that part,
Yeah.
now we got to do this Punch Your Texas Ticket segment of the show today.
Let's
where
do
we
it.
talk about,
Yeah.
and we include some of the events that you're got upcoming, and some of the ones that we wanted to mention here in the area for this weekend, next weekend, throughout the holiday, and what's coming up into February. But I can't tell you how the ticketing hub can destroy an event. You
Absolutely.
delay our progress sales doesn't need an excuse.
Right.
And everybody knows that. If I give sales an excuse and you own a company, it's the only thing they're going to mention every time you ask them why they didn't
Absolutely.
produce for you.
That's right.
Right. So when you want to go excuse free and you want to be smooth, transition, and get an event, I postured some things in front of Christian Waldo today, and he's telling me within 30 minutes we'd have it up and running and ramped
Absolutely.
up. I could sell my tickets in a appealing manner.
Absolutely.
Not hokey pokey, but an appealing professional way instantly. And every day counts, especially when you get that calendar and you've got goals to meet and we've got strategies that we want to implement, and there's ways to go. So if you're an event promoter, it's definitely something to look into. Eventbrite, we all know. You already know.
I love it.
I
I
don't want
use
to
it
throw
all the
rocks
time.
at some of these other pages, but
Yeah.
they're not sexy. They're
No.
not
No.
easy to use. They're not comfortable, and they're not even easy to log into. So I'll tell you, all the above makes them difficult. But I'm going to put some of those links down below. And
Awesome.
I can't
Great.
recommend that more than I already have here, and I don't want to embellish something I haven't entirely used just
Right,
yet.
right.
But from what we've looked at and what I've attempted to use in other places, it seems like, clear the congestion, get to the point,
Right.
get your job done. Everybody's got their own goals and things and things they have to achieve in a short period of time.
Right.
And once I call you, what's the average timeline that person has after they telephone you? 30 days, 60 days?
I think that if you telephone me and you say I want to get an event up, I think realistically, depending on what we have going on, it'll be no longer than a week before that event is up and running. Now, that
But the
also,
event date, when is the event going to happen? What's typical?
Meaning what?
Like if I'm
how
calling
far
you
out?
today, when is that event happening, do you think, on average?
Your event?
Any event.
Yeah, so I mean, I tell people you live and die by your pre-sales, especially for an outdoor event. Try and get as many as you can. I like 6 months out. Give me, go try and get your tickets launched 6 months out for a big outdoor festival. But I mean, it just depends on the event.
I'm 90 days minimum. I mean,
Yeah,
so
minimum.
You better at least start.
You want to
90.
have promotion, right? You
Yeah,
want to have
right.
time to promote. You want to.
Otherwise,
I'm going to
you
tell
gave
you.
sales an
I'll tell you the
excuse.
secret tool, and I know we got to move on to the next part, but I'll tell you a secret tool for all you event coordinators out there. Somebody needs to see your ad, your event 5 to 6 times before they buy a pre-sale ticket. Okay, 5 to
know.
6 times. That is your average. So what I do is I like to promote 6 months out, right?
Yeah.
I like to have 6 or 7 or 8 different ads. And once you watch one of my ads and you don't buy a ticket from me, I want to retarget you with 6 different videos, all of a different part of the event and why you should come. And by that 5th, 3rd, 4th, 5th time, it averages out, right? You're going to buy a ticket to my event, or you're going to put in your calendar, you're going to come because if you're interested in the event, right? And so that's retargeting, that's marketing strategy. You're a great marketer yourself. All events, and that's where Event Tech 360 comes in, is we want to be your partner in your event. We want to help you get pre-sales, get sponsors, get vendors, get participants, get local support, and that's what we do at Event Tech 360, and we've done that really well with the SCCA and all the events that partner with us. They don't just get someone that sanctions their event. They get someone that's going to help their event grow year after year and become a staple of their local community.
And vendors, sponsors, equal responsibility.
Absolutely.
I carry that torch, and then you've got to fulfill. And so again, sales doesn't need an excuse. And
Right.
if the CRM or the ticketing system is my excuse, it's a valid excuse.
Right.
Unfortunately, all we do is lose. So can't be the problem.
Absolutely.
Can't be the problem. So I love what you're doing, and I love that. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back with the Punch Your Texas ticket segment of the show right after this. Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket. Welcome back to the Texas Tickets Monday with the Punch Your Texas Ticket segment of the show. I'm here with Haley Dawn, Christian Waldo, Sabina Moreno, and thank you all for being here today. We're going to go through a few events. This is what we do to talk about local events, stuff that might make you a little more Texan.
Yeah.
I don't know, just stuff local and the things that Texans want to do. Well, one thing we want to do is eat some crawfish. And you've got a few hot events on the top of your list. And one of them is the 6th annual Crawfish Critic Cook-Off event here
You got
local.
it.
And that's going to be May 16th and 17th at Three Palms Action Park at 15100 Interstate 45, South Conroe, Texas. That's May 16th and 17th.
It's actually going to be at the this year we moved to the Montgomery County Fairgrounds.
Montgomery
So
County
everybody
Fairgrounds.
knows where that's at. You type that in Google, you don't need an address. Go to Montgomery County Fairgrounds and
Glad
you'll
you're
see us there May 16th and 17th. Yep.
Okay. And 16th, there's going to be some pregame
That's the
party?
kickoff party,
Okay.
man. That's where everybody's partying and hanging out. It's where we get to hang out a little bit more, and that's
Will
where
we
the
eat
cook teams
crawfish?
get to party. No, you're not going to eat crawfish. You're going to eat Cajun food. You're going to eat all our cooked vendors, and everybody sells food. That's where you're going to eat a lot of Cajun food, right? The crawfish comes Saturday. So
Right on. And
workout.
Haley, you had something coming up. No? No? What about Valentine's Day? You got something going on for that?
I already launched the Valentine's Day collection. That's live. And
I mean, you.
the last day to order is January 31st to get your jammies before Valentine's Day.
So, really quick, February 1st, National Freedom Day. International Day of Women's and Girls in Science, February 11th. World Cancer Day, WHO. Didn't we pull out of that? February 4th. National Carrot Cake Day, February 3rd. World Wetlands Day. It's not a lot. Groundhog Day.
And the Super Bowl.
Groundhog Day. Super
Oh,
Bowl.
Super
Yeah, we
Bowl.
got
That's
Super
gonna be
Bowl
fun.
coming up. We got
Hate
Groundhog
hate
Day
that
in
the Chiefs are
February.
there,
I
but
can't.
here we
I don't
go.
want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
it's OKC, the Eagles. We've got a spread says the KC's going to win, and they're the ESPN spread's running about a 61% win ratio, so they're sitting at a.
So you're
40
saying there's a chance that they don't three-peat, please, God.
the over/under is at 49.5, and we'll see how that works out. And they're all saying Chiefs got this.
What are
Eagles
you
the
saying?
Underdog. I think Chiefs as well. I really I'd like to see Eagles in full effect. I think they may be a bit more competitive and change that.
Start placing some bets.
All
I
hell,
didn't say that. but
Barkley.
yeah.
Come on, Barkley.
Yeah,
Barkley and Hurts.
Everybody needs to show up for work.
Let's go.
Everybody needs to come to work for the Eagles. I'll say that. And Philadelphia, be cool if you don't win. All right. I mean, dang.
Oh man, you see
Oh,
that?
man, yeah.
Wow,
They got the
just
worst
be
fan
good.
base.
And what about the Swifties? What about the Swifties? Are they all coming out again?
I can't
Who's
handle
doing
it.
the halftime
All right, look,
show? Are we
there's
going
a-
to Usher
Kendrick
doing that
Lamar.
grind
There's
thing
a
again?
Kendrick Lamar.
Great
Kendrick
drinking
Lamar.
game to play, right? Every time they show Taylor Swift on the TV, you take a shot, and then you're literally going to be passed out by halftime. But if you don't want to watch the game, do that game.
Well, what
right?
about the halftime show?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, that's
Kendrick
cool. They
Lamar?
should have had Lil Wayne. You're in New Orleans. Why would you not have Lil
I
Wayne?
know,
What
I'm
is going
so
on? Or
upset about
Boozy,
that.
Boozy,
I'm
Lil
so
Wayne.
upset.
Like, what are we doing here?
Wow.
And
I like
well,
Kendrick. I like him better than Drake, right? He won the rap battle.
They did.
But-
They did.
But come on, Lil
Usher
Wayne.
and company
I
got a
know.
little.
Lil
Why
Wayne
would
is
you
my
not have
favorite.
Lil
That
Wayne?
just seems like
It's a slap in the face.
I know.
Wetlands
Lil
Day.
Wayne,
Did
shout
I
out
mention
to you.
Wetlands Day?
Maybe they didn't ask him though, because Lil Wayne's a
Oh
Packers
no,
fan.
I saw the Facebook post going on of everybody having Lil Wayne's back. He didn't get asked. Now, I still like Kendrick Lamar, but dude, Lil Wayne's New Orleans. What are you doing?
I know.
Trent Cowie. My boy Trent Cowie is going to be at Henry's Hideout Saturday, February 1st. This Saturday. I'm going out there. Are you going? You going to go? You want to go? Trent Cowie? Want to
Yeah,
go?
I haven't been. I
go?
haven't seen him
Trent
yet.
Cowie?
I've
so-
been before, but
Trent
yeah.
Cowie's yeah, he's
I
really
like
good.
Trent Cowie.
Yeah,
He's great.
He's going to be at Henry's Hideout in Plantersville, Texas, February 1st. You can come see him Saturday. Tickets are on sale for pre-sale for $15.25 at the door. The Sinatra Experience at the Old Town Theater in Huntsville. That's Valentine's Day thing, right? So you can come out there and
Sounds fun.
did it my way. Yeah,
I'll be at home.
that's a hand holder. We're kissing a lot there.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
think
that's
it'd be an
Sinatra. Yeah,
That's solid. I recognized it.
close-up comedy, a magic event, and it's called The Conjuring. Now, let me put this into
is that
perspective.
scary?
It's called The Conjuring.
Sounds like
it's
a
a
scary
show.
movie.
That's a Valentine's event?
No,
comedy
this is at
show?
the Hyatt Place in the Woodlands. This event has about 30 people in attendance, 40 people. 50 fills the room, standing room only.
Sounds even scarier.
Everybody's involved.
Says
There
a lot.
is a room trick. There are room magic. There is everything that this guy does to entertain a small audience. And it's happening in the Woodlands. It's called The Conjuring. That's February 14th and 15th, and you can catch it at the Hyatt Place at the Woodlands Hotel. Yeah, caught
I'm
that little
intrigued.
bit,
I'm
and I was
intrigued,
thinking, now
yeah.
that's next.
I've
That's
seen the movie. If it's anything like that, I'm out.
I know, it does say comedy though.
Oh, yeah.
Comedy,
I mean,
up
It's
close.
funny
comedy.
for the audience to watch the hidden camera show to watch the audience get scared or something, right?
February 28th, Mark Chestnut
That's awesome.
over at the Waco's Hippodome Theater.
Mark
You can
Chestnut,
to
he's
him.
great.
Yeah. Tyler Childers, don't forget, his tickets are on sale now at the Cynthia Mitchell Woods Pavilion for
That's
June
a good
9th
one.
show.
Little
Yes,
Feathered
sir.
Indians.
Curtis Grimes, live at the table at Medley, $20 at the door. You can catch that show for also Valentine's, another place to go. And Debbie and Company. Southern Disposition. We playing Red Brick Tavern at February 6th.
Oh,
And she owns the Red Brick
I
Tavern.
love Miss Debbie.
Love that place.
We were
Good
just
food.
there earlier, man. If you haven't been to Red Brick Tavern in Conroe, you are missing out
on their pizza.
on their pizza.
On their
They
pizza.
got
They got
good
the best
pizza.
pizza. I actually
And
heard
their
the story
bartender
from Debbie about how
skills.
she came about that recipe. Great story. You have to ask her one day. When
I
you're there.
will. The Man in Black, Sean Barker, #1 Johnny Cash tribute at Do-Si Do, the Big Barn. That's the 31st. That's tonight. That's tonight at 8:30 p.m. Go catch that show. I heard he's the best.
Yes.
Now I've seen a few. And just to claim yourself the best in the area, that's quite the claim. So that's going on over there at Do-Si Do tonight, 8:30 p.m. And of course February 9th, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. You can catch that. And whatever happens there, Philadelphia will be cool. The Go Texan Parade coming up February 22nd, and we've got Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras coming
so
up.
much
a,
fun.
a lot of cool events. Copperhead Brewery's holding a event out there where they're doing some tastings and stuff tonight as well. If you haven't made it out there. I think that's all of me. I'd like to thank Mortgage Solutions LP.
Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah,
I
thank you for
appreciate it.
coming. The SCCA, thank you for coming as well. Diamond & Co. Diamond & Co., thank you for coming. Lone Star Community Radio, the Texas Truck Works, and don't forget about the Hunger Crush event on Lake Conroe at the Water Point Center on the lake at 105 West. They're doing the car show Saturday morning at 8 a.m., 8 to 10, and it's just like-minded car folks. Come out and have a good time. Have a fun. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you next week right here on the Texas Ticket.
Giving you the news and what's really